Saludo, les habla Luis Alejandro
I would like
Medina
to
de
greet you all. I am Luis Alejandro Medina from Noticiero Telemundo 47. For me, it's a pleasure to welcome you. We're always with our eyes open to every event that happens in this conference. I would like to thank Jaco for this invitation. I do believe it's an important moment, historical moment in terms of immigration in our country after an anti-immigration policy, and what we are living at this point is some sort of new agenda of expectations, the possibility of migratory reform, and what's happening in the borderline and the dreams of many people to find their way to citizenship. So this is what this is about, and the effort carried out by IACO with this conference of integration with the immigrants is to answer to their questions so that we'll have an idea of the new roadmap in terms of immigration and what's happening at the moment and expectations. And for that, we have invited a select group of people well aware about this subject, immigration experts and officers. And the idea is to bring this message on how immigrants should be prepared and what's coming under the new circumstances that our nation is going through. So I would like to thank Iaco and congratulations, because this is the proper time to have this conference that will answer to these questions and issues. So first of all, I would like to introduce the president of the board of directors, Lorenzo Hernandez. Lorenzo, welcome. Thank you very much. I am Lorenzo Hernandez. I am the president of the board of directors of IACO. For me, it's a pleasure and an honor to greet you all today, this conference of integration for immigrants. The organization was created, its origin was one of several programs that created under the Hispanic Center of Information. For more than three decades, developed programs in favor of those who needed it the most, among them immigrants of the county of Pasek. And today, Ayaco respects and always aims at protecting the human dignity of all human beings, especially nowadays with the immigrants. We would like to invite you to take part in this event and our collaborators in this conference. We thank the organizers, the directors of the program, and the personnel that for so long and with so much work have uh, made great efforts to prepare this conference. Thank you very much. Lorenzo, thank you very much. I think that it's very important. We're talking about the dignity of human beings. We all know what has happened with immigrants in this nation, and that's the effort and the purpose of YACA. We've seen how this organization has grown, and we know what Gustavo Ramirez, who's been a visionary and activist, and he's always been there in key moments. So this is the right moment to introduce him as director of IACO. Thank you, Luis Alejandro. And thank you for that presentation, for that introduction. So on behalf of Ayaco, on the board of directors, and on behalf of all our employees, I would like to welcome you all to this conference of integration of immigrants 2021. And I really thank you for being here, for doing the great effort. We're going to live 3 days in which we will be developing three subjects as a society altogether, and we will try to understand the reason and the needs, and at what pace and what commitment we should have as a society for the integration of immigrants. As Luis Alegrando said, IACO, it's an organization that's been there for more than 3 decades, working with the community. This organization was founded in 1999, and our mission has been to assist and guide immigrants in their process of adaptation, integration, inclusion, and development in the society. This society, it's a multicultural one. IACO has the support of more than 30,000 members registered that represent more than 115 nationalities, so that you have a clearer idea of the myriad of communities that are part of our community. And in the following 3 days, we will have important representatives from the whole society in general, and we will be covering different issues. So I really appreciate your participation. We will be united virtually, but the whole purpose is that at the end of the road, we have a better understanding and commitment so that we can link and be proactive in the quick integration of immigrants. So thank you, Luis Alejandro. I I want to really thank all those who have helped us, sponsors, especially, just like the case of Telemundo. And here we have our Master of Ceremony, Luis Alejandro Medina, and we wanted to thank the New Jersey State through CRD, Sara Peña, Executive Director, who has always contributed. And we would also like to thank Horizon, that with their foundation, it's supporting us for the development of this event, and Bankrate Hospital, who is also a sponsor, and obviously all the panel and people joining us who have dedicated their time and effort so that this event, it's of utmost efficiency and success. Thank you, Luis Alejandro. Thank you, Gustavo. That's what we're talking about. It's virtual integration, and that's the effort carried out by IACO. We are affected by this pandemic that has changed our history, our lives, and posed new challenges for humankind. So we are taking advantage of technology at this moment in which immigrants have so many questions with regard to this new scenario and these new rules of the game that have been introduced. So I would like to congratulate IACO for its great work by joining this step-by-step of immigrants with all the challenges and offering a legal alternative and recommendation and advisory in this important moment. So I would like to introduce the Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, and she will uh, start officially this event and how authorities have are taking part in this important event.
That is participating in this conference. And it is a necessary conference. I think that as we look at the landscape nationally and internationally, and also right here in our own state, we in state government recognize the unique challenges that have been represented to our immigrant communities in New Jersey. You know that we probably have minimally 2 million people in our state who are spread out amongst various immigrant communities. And we do know absolutely, for instance, that the Latino community is the largest segment of our immigrant population. But Southeast Asian and Asian Americans, people from the Caribbean, West Africa. I often tell people, as someone who has been very interested in urban development and urban revitalization, that in New Jersey, if it were not for our immigrant populations that are scattered around the state, we would not be seeing a lot of the revitalization that goes on in our urban communities. Uh, all you've got to do is visit any of our urban centers. you will see members of the immigrant community who are running businesses, who are making certain that they aspire and achieve home ownership, and a lot of other things. So this is a community that certainly has made their mark in our state. And, you know, one of the things we've struggled with, all of us through the pandemic, as we saw people experience loss of income, uh, and many of our federal and state entitlement programs um, were not accessible to members of the immigrant population. That is why I know that Governor Murphy is working extremely hard to make certain that in our FY22 budget, we can incorporate resources. You know that in addition to being a lieutenant governor, I am also the commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. And one of the things we've been laboring at through these months is making certain that we can get rental assistance out to people. And it's important for the immigrant community to know that the federal funds that we administer for rental assistance do not require reporting or disclosure of immigrant status. So we want to make certain that we get the word spread from one end of the state to the other. On our DCA website and in all of our publications, they are translated primarily and certainly in Spanish, but in some other languages as well. We do not want that to be an impediment to people applying for resources. We have worked very closely with healthcare institutions across the state to make certain that people have access to healthcare if they're not covered, and to make certain that we provide just the very basics like food. You know that First Lady Tammy Murphy was able to get some donors to create the New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fund. And through the fund, we've been able to serve various immigrant populations. I'm a resident of East Orange, and I know that maybe about 3 to 4 weeks ago, the First Lady and representatives of the fund traveled to East Orange to a church, and they distributed $500 gift cards to Haitian American immigrants that live in that part of Essex County, the Oranges and Newark, to make certain that folks had available to them some access to cash through the vehicle of a gift card. So the Murphy administration, I think we don't have to describe to you that we are all in with an agenda of inclusion and diversity. We value diversity in our state. As I said when I began, that our communities would not be what they are without the diversity that we have. And, you know, I had reminded everyone as the census was being taken, New Jerseyans are going to be pleasantly surprised because the largest cohort, age 18 to 34, is dominated by those who have grown up within immigrant families. And we do know we still have to address the issue that exists at the federal level. We need once and for all our federal government and our Congress to come to terms with creating some legislation to give people a path to citizenship in this country. I'm sure that once the prior administration left and President Biden our first African American, Asian American um, vice president took office, who was assigned to go down to the border to see what we could do in terms of the children that had entered the country. We have to solve this challenge that we are confronted with. Um, we have always been a welcoming country. And, it really burns me up when I see people uh, uh, who object to us opening our doors and our borders. That's who we are. There is no person in this country or in this state that is native to this country. The US population is a population comprised of people who are the second and third generations of immigrants. And as an African American, I certainly am not going to give you my diatribe that we've been immigrants since 1619. So know that you have a lot of support in the Murphy administration. We look forward to continuing to work with you to support the needs within the community. And I want to thank you because something that I know critically, our communities and the growth in our communities across the state would not be what they are if it were not for immigrants who have made commitments and settled into our communities. You can look and ID these communities across our 22 counties. The economy has grown because of the presence and participation of immigrants in our communities. You can go along our commercial corridors in cities and municipalities all around the state, and you will see what immigrant communities bring to the table. So thank you. I hope you have a great conference, and it's good to see you all. And just continue the work, continue to work in the vineyard. And as the late Congressman John Lewis said, stay forever vigilant in making good trouble.
So thank you, Lieutenant Governor. It's important. The contribution of the state is quite important in this work carried out by immigrants. For me, it's a pleasure to introduce someone who's worked close to immigrants and that lives the daily concerns of them. And it's the Director of Legal Matters, Ileana Montes. Ileana, be welcome.
Thank you, Alejandro. To me, it is a pleasure to be meeting here with you and to see the great participation of the community. Thank you so much for being here with us. And I'd like to express my gratitude to the logistics team for this conference. We've worked throughout several months to carry out this academic exercise where we have invited people with a lot of knowledge about the different topics that we will be addressing today. The US is the most diverse country, and we are very pleased to know that the legacy of immigrants has changed not only through the history of the US, but immigrants have contributed quite significantly to the economy and to the different aspects of the growth of this major nation. As you know, the conference will take place in 3 days. So we will begin with several educational topics. So the first one that we want to address to give further context to the topics is has to do with the legacy of immigrants in the US. So once we complete this segment, we will move on to the segment where we'll have two experts, a historian and a statistics expert who will be talking about the contributions made by the different immigration communities in the US. Then after this, we will be talking about the mission and the commitment that the state of New Jersey has Fortunately, this administration has been 100% committed to the integration of the immigrant. Last year in 2019, the Governor Phil Murphy approved and passed an executive order to create an office for immigrants in the state of New Jersey. So we are really grateful to him, to her, to the Lieutenant Governor who has also supported us in this process. Then we will continue with the laws of immigration. As you may not be surprised by the fact that all immigrants are expecting to determine if there will be an immigration reform. So the experts on the matter will talk to us about the different changes that have taken place in the past years, the expectations that we have in this administration, and then we'll also talk about in detail about the different defenses on deportation, the political asylum, and so on and so forth. So amidst every presentation, we're going to have a small cultural presentation so that we can emphasize on the cultural part, which is something that we should never disregard. Um, People will not only become familiar about the artists that have supported us and this process with their material, but this is also this will convey some flow among each topic. So tomorrow, as of one, as of today, we will talk about the positive impact at the level of economy for the different immigrants. This year, since we're bringing this conference virtually, we have had the great honor and satisfaction to have panelists, speakers, not only from New Jersey, but from other places. We also have uh, people who have shared their knowledge from New York, from Washington. So to all of them, thank you very much. We're going to move on to another important topic tomorrow, which is the importance of education and how education is conveying new opportunities. And then and tomorrow we will end with another topic that is really important related to health. We will be talking about the impact that COVID has had in the different communities, and we will also talk about the different services that are available for the community. Then on Saturday, June 26th, we will end with something that is really, really important for the community, which is the input and the contribution of nonprofit organizations and religious-based organizations. How are they becoming the bridge between the immigration community or the migrating community and the government? So we will also have the participation of several organizations having a vast trajectory, which have helped to many, many immigrants from different places globally. And to finish the session, we will have the group of volunteers, of lawyers who are specialized on family, immigration, labor, criminal aspects, and they will actually provide legal advisory at no cost, and of course, confidential to those who require it. So as you can see, we have a very, very a comprehensive conference. We have designed that for our community, for all of you, and we do hope that this is something that you will enjoy. At the end, please make sure that you complete the survey that will be available on the website, and then after each section, because it will be very important to have the feedback and your opinion so that we can keep on doing these conferences. So we hope you enjoy this. Thank you very much and enjoy.
Thank you very much. Ileana, thank you very much. You've done great effort to cover the subjects, the matters that are relevant to our community. Immigration depends on contributions and the circumstances and the hard work during the pandemic and all this essential work. Immigrants have been key in terms of health, education, and I would like to invite you to answer this service because it's important to know your thoughts and your expectations so that we can prepare events such as this one that respond to your needs. So I would like to thank those who have joined us in this first part, and let's start without further ado. The first one, it's the legacy of immigrants, and for that I would like to mention that we have experts that are well versed about this subjects, because what we are covering in this conference is the present, the past, but also the future of what's coming in terms of immigration, and that's pertinent for all of us. So I will open this first part of the forum, and we are pleased to be here with you as part of Telemundo for this event that it's so relevant for our communities.
Agradecemos mucho su participación.
We appreciate your participation. Please do not forget to fill in the surveys. Remember that your response is absolutely private, confidential, and we will not compile any personal information. Your suggestions and comments will help us improve for future editions of our event. Thank you very much.